Greetings from Pittsburgh. It's Rona. I've just come back from my local theater where I saw and heard a wonderful production of the opera Maria Stuarda by Donizetti. It is part of his Three Queens trilogy. Last year, I saw Anna Bolena, also by Donizetti, and also directed by David McVicker. Uh, I really did not care for the sets or costumes in that opera, but today we had a new set director and who also made the costumes, and it was a beautiful, beautiful production. The costumes were so rich and they looked very authentic. I loved the honeycomb collars that all the royalty wears, and Queen Elizabeth wore some stunning outfits. I think there were four of them altogether. And her last one in the second act was truly a gem. In the title role of Mary, Queen of Scots, Maria Stuarda, she just gets to wear a simple dress. But the opera is not about the dresses or the design of the sets. It's about great singing. And today I was very happy that I heard so much great singing and good singing. The great singing was from the American mezzo Joyce Donato. I just don't even know where to begin. She was able to float beautiful pianissimo passages. Her coloratura work was gorgeous. When she had to plumb the depths of the phrases, she was able to give a lot of emphasis to the words she was saying. All in all, it was a vocal tour de force for her. And equaling her vocal abilities was her acting. She was so convincing as this very, you feel very sorry for her, this very sorry character. She was just aching in her portrayal. And in the second act, where she's waiting to be executed, and she's already spent 10 more years in prison, her hands shook throughout the entire act. She was so immersed in the characterization. It was really wonderful to see. Of course, Mary has her rival in Elizabeth, and this role was taken on by the South African soprano Elsa van den Heever. She's a very good singer with an excellent technique. However, I did not find it a particularly beautiful voice. I admired her singing. I think, since I know a little bit about her background, that she has gone from being a mezzo to going into soprano repertoire, that she's sort of in a transition phase, could be, and I think we'll be hearing a lot more from her. The tenor role of Leicester was done by Matthew Polenzani, who has a beautiful voice and did a very nice job. However, his acting was not up to the standards of the other two principals. Now I have to cheat and look at the names of the other singers because they're not names I know. In the role of Talbot was Matthew Rose, an English basso. He was excellent. He started off a little wobbly, and sometimes I'm not so crazy about basso voices, but I thought overall he did a very good job. And in the smaller role of Cecil was someone whose name I do not know, Joshua Hopkins. Very good. And also in the smaller role yet was Maria Zivchak as the lady in waiting for Mary. Always reliable, always a pro. The conductor was Maurizio Benini, and I don't know too much about him, but he didn't do anything spectacular or terrible as a conductor. I thought everything was just okay. As some of you may know, I'm not a particular fan of bel canto operas, and as I tried to tell the truth all the time, I fell asleep for about 10 minutes, somewhere in the middle of Act 2, because to me the music is very repetitive. However, others love bel canto operas, and it's their favorite kind of music. So it's just a matter of a personal taste. In terms of the overall opera, I thought it was a huge success in one very special area, and that was that the four main singers really had their voices extremely well matched. In Anna Bolena, which was done last year, there were three Russians, and they had a sort of special color to their voice. And had one of them been transplanted into today's opera, they would have sounded out of place. And the same would be true of today's cast members singing with the Russians. So, in general, I thought excellent job on casting this in such a way that it seemed to be a very seamless affair. I enjoyed it very much. I would highly recommend this opera to anyone. During the one and only intermission, I happened to see a friend of mine who had already seen it live at the Met, and I asked him about Miss DiDonato's singing, because in the theater, when she sings very softly, we heard it very well, but I wasn't sure how it projected at the Met. He told me he sat in the orchestra under the overhang and everything was crystal clear and filled the house, and that no one coughed and no one's phone went off. So he said that she was just as good in the house as she was in this live transmission. If any of you out there have not heard her sing this role and are music teachers or music students, you should listen to this because it's a model for how to sing bel canto. Beautifully, elegantly, with great technique, and lots of feeling. Brava to Miss D. Donato. It's sort of a tongue twister. Good night, everyone.